Hey, what's happening, my ghosts and ghoulies? Rosary here. This is like a mini episode, just reading through all of the information provided on the computer files from Martian Gothic Unification. Let's begin, shall we? So we got a bunch of stuff. What is this? On August 6, 1996, proof of ancient Martian life was announced by NASA to the world's media, based on the identification of microfossils in a Martian meteorite. Within a few months of the announcement, President Clinton made a public commitment to the search for extraterrestrial life on Mars. 15 million years ago, an asteroid or impact comet blasted an area of the Martian surface into space. One of the rocks from this ejecta commencing on a wayward orbit which ended in Antarctica in 11,000 BC. This meteorite weighed 4.2 pounds and its materials were formed 4.5 billion years ago on Mars, when rocks were first condensing on Earth. It was discovered in 1984 and labeled Rock ALH 84001. From the beginning, NASA's claim was a source of contention in scientific circles, but dissenting voices were gradually silenced as later investigations proved conclusively that fossil bacteria of alien origin were indeed present in ALH 84001. I gotta assume that means this story takes place in the future? Vita 1 base. The core of Vita 1 base in its present form was completed on 17 October 2015. I guess not. Probably in the future from when this was made. Crewed by 6 men and 4 women, its mission was summed up in its name: Vita, life. Vita 1 was intended above all as a research base for extant Martian life. From its completion in October 2015 to the present time of August 2018, President Allenby has ordered all the resources of his multinational company, Earth Control, to be placed at the disposal of the Vita project, of which Vita 1 base is the first stepping stone. A second Vita base has just been completed in the Hellas Plain, awaiting its first crew, and others are planned. Vita Project. The Vita Project was instituted by President Allenby in 2015 to search for physical evidence of extraterrestrial life. Mars is the first step in this long-term project, geared to the discovery and analysis of living Martian microorganisms. The enormous funds available to Earth Control allowed the pace of space exploration to accelerate, outstripping even the Apollo missions of the 1960s. So they just throwing money at this project like, we gotta find aliens. This one said mood. The most sophisticated of all infomesh systems is the XY009 series. And of this series, mood is considered the most fully conscious and eccentric. The infomesh user for mood is Andrew Muir, who has borne the stress of frequent meshing with fortitude. Mood may be addressed through the audio walls of Mood Chamber, but it's primarily contacted by a Simurial interface chair. Once the user is seated, he or she will enter a psionic reconstruction of a familiar habitat. Although the user's body will remain seated in Mood's chamber, their consciousness will be entirely absorbed in a simureal world. That sounds pretty dope. They got like a VR cranking chair. Earth control. Earth control is best summed up by its logo, a picture of Mars cradled in a pair of human hands with the slogan, "Earth Cares." Earth Control is the aerospace division of Earth Care Unity, the largest multinational company in human history. Under its president, Bernard Allenby, Earth Care Unity has grown from an ergonomic corporation specializing in genetically modified food to a commercial empire spanning numerous spheres of interest, including agriculture, information technology, arms manufacture, bioengineering, and space exploration. One of the main aims of Earth Control is the human colonization of Mars, with a view to terraforming the planet by the end of the 21st century if successful. This will be followed by the terraforming of Venus. And nothing negative could ever come from that. Allenby. By 2005, Allenby was in a position to fulfill his lifelong ambition, the quest for life in space, with greater financial resources than the chronically underfunded NASA. They call it NASA broke bitches. He effectively took over the management of space exploration under the aegis of Earth Control. As Allenby himself said at the time, from Sputnik to Neil Armstrong walking on the moon, it took little more than a decade. Now it's 36 years since the first manned lunar landing, and we still haven't managed to send a human to Mars. Just what the hell is wrong with us? What the hell indeed? Infomesh. Infomesh is a generic name applied to neural computer networks extrapolated from the personalities of living people. These neural networks interact directly with the user's mind within a shared mental world known as a simu-reality. All infomesh systems possess consciousness, but the nature and degree of this consciousness is a matter of pure speculation. With these advanced systems, telepathy has finally become a scientific reality. Only skilled infomesh practitioners, known as meshers, are able to communicate on a telepathic level with these sophisticated networks. There is some evidence that accomplished meshers have a psychic ability, but this is a matter of debate. What is certain is that any normal person is likely to suffer severe mental trauma if they engage in meshing. The most intelligent of all infomesh systems is the YX009 series, and of this series, Mood is considered the most fully conscious and eccentric. The Vita-based infomesh user for Mood is Andrew Muir, who has borne the stress of frequent meshing with fortitude. Martian subsurface life. Up to about 3 billion years ago, Mars was warm and lush. Vast rivers rushed down such valleys as the Valley Marinarius. The climate changed when the planet's orbit altered, causing the seas to evaporate and the temperature to fall. Martian life retreated underground, drawing energy from hot springs and thermal areas. Under the surface of Mars, there is a layer of permafrost 10 meters deep. Back in the 20th century, it was prostituted that if life still existed on Mars, then it was likely to be found at a depth of 50 meters or more. It had already been noted that the red planet possesses the 6 elements essential to life: hydrogen, oxygen, carbon, nitrogen, phosphorus, and sulfur. Mars Surveyor 2005 proved that microorganisms once thrived on Mars, but living bacteria were not discovered until the establishment of Vita Base 1. Living Martian bacteria, like their ancestors, fell into the 3 main types of terrestrial microbes: Bacillus, Rod, Coccus, Ovoid, and Spirillum spiral. These were found mostly 60 meters or more underground, apart from thermal spring locations where living bacteria have been unearthed less than a meter under the surface. A curious feature of these 3 types of Martian microorganisms is that they have been observed to bond onto tripartite structures of rod ovoid spiral. So they combine into like a megazord of bacteria badness. That's crazy. Chronology of Martian exploration. July 1965. Mariner 4 and Mariner 6 achieved first successful flyby of Mars. November 1971. Mariner 9 entered Martian orbit. March 1974. Mars 6 orbiter lander sent back some data before contact lost during landing sequence. June and August 1976. Viking 1 and Viking 2 orbiter landers achieved Martian orbit in the following month. The landers analyzed soil samples. Analysis showed no proof of Martian life. 1984, Martian meteorite labeled ALH84001 discovered in Antarctica. August 1996, public announcement of microfossil forms in ALH84001. November 1996, Mars Global Surveyor launched on search for water on Martian surface and subsurface. December 1996, Pathfinder mission overtook the Global Surveyor and landed on July 4th, 1997, releasing a 6-wheeled mini rover to study rocks and soil. July 1998, Planet B, a Japanese probe launched to study the Martian atmosphere. December 1998, first stage of NASA's Mars Surveyor 98 mission launched into Martian orbit to study climate. January 1999, lander stage of Mars Surveyor 98 launched to probe polar samples of ice and carbon dioxide. July 2005, Mars Surveyor 2005 launched to acquire Martian soil samples and return them to Earth under strict quarantine conditions. Results verified the existence of Martian microfossils. August 2009, first manned landing on Mars in Zeus 1 near the Olympus Mons extremity of the Valles Marineris. This was the first space mission financed by Allenby, president of Earth Control, who gave his own affectionate nickname of Zeus to the program. The astronauts took soil and rock samples and left the rudiments of a base building kit on the surface. September 2010, NASA microbiologists discovered clear evidence of fossilized bacteria in the Zeus 1 samples, spurring America to join with Japan and Europe in a concentrated investigation of the Martian subsurface. From a permanent base, Earth Control replaced NASA as regulator of the space program. December 2011, Zeus 2 landed on Mars and began the piecemeal construction of a Martian core sampling base. 7 construction missions followed in quick succession over the next 10 months. October 2015, Martian base named Vita 1 completed with initial crew of 10 to be replaced in 6-month shifts. Air supplied partly by filtration, up to 50% of food supplied by a primitive arboretum. June-November 2016, Vita 1 extended and crew increased to 30 members. Construction of Vita 2 commenced on the Hellas Plain. July through September of 2017, further extensions of Vita 1 crew increased to 44 members. August 2018, base crew reached maximum level of 58 members, headed by Base Director Felici, Chief Supervisor Oba, and Project Director Haraway. Further extensions of Vita Base underway. Preparations in hand to transfer 20 crew members to Vita 2 on the Hellas Plain. Ooh, that was a whole ass history lesson. And then we got Mars. What is Mars? If you're not familiar, it's a rock up in space. 4th planet from the sun at the mean distance of 227.9 million kilometers. Diameter 6,794 kilometers. Martian day 24 hours, 37 minutes, 22.6 seconds. Martian year 687 days. Mass 0.107 that of Earth. Volume 0.15 that of Earth. Surface gravity 0.38 that of Earth. Atmosphere 95% carbon dioxide, with most of the remaining 5% composed of nitrogen and argon. Mean surface day temperature minus 23 degrees Celsius. Polar ice caps contain water, ice, and carbon dioxide ice. Water present in extensive underground aquifers. Satellites, Phobos on inner orbit, Deimos on outer orbit. Both are small, irregular ellipsoids. So there we go. Hey, thanks for sticking around to the end. If you enjoyed this, you'll probably like some of my other gaming videos. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe so you won't miss out on my next upload.